It's the Unhappy Hour.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy. The solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles, to be specific. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Unhappy Hour here on the TNAM Radio Network. My name's Brian Engelman. I'm going to be your host, as I have been for the past five years. In 5 years, how long have I been waiting to celebrate a championship? Yes, I just celebrated a birthday. Thanks for asking. That makes it 37 years in basketball, baseball, and football. The Indians, the Cavs, and the Browns have been unable to win a championship. In all of those years combined, nothing in my lifetime. 37. 37 times 3 is 111. It's more like lost. 111 seasons and 0 championships. The probability is staggering. So you know what's even happening this weekend? ESPN, they're going to be debuting a 30-for-30 episode of Believeland. I'm actually curious how they're pronouncing it. Believeland, but it's really going to kind of sum up what misery Cleveland has faced. All of the amazingly painful situations that the Cavs fans have gone through when LeBron left, when Jordan hit his shot over Elo, when the Cavs had the Bulls' regular season number in the same conference. You know, it could have easily won championships those years. Then LeBron leaves and wins them in another city, and the Cleveland Browns have seemed like a cursed franchise since Art Modell stole them. How many quarterbacks have we had through those revolving doors? And then the Indians, you know, you're 1 out away. It's Game 7. It's the bottom of the 9th, and you can't win the game. You lose the World Series. You had it in your hands. You know, you go back to the curse of Rocky Calavito, this, that, or the other. But the Cleveland team hasn't won a championship since Jim Brown in 1964. Think about it, 1964. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in Zak Baris. He and I are going to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and the NBA playoffs. Check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com, and subscribe to youtube.com/thenewamericanmedia.
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Living the dream, Zach. How are you, sir?
I'm great.
Yeah.
A little hungover, but I'm good.
Yeah. Who else is hungover today? Who else is a little hungover? I don't know. I've been following a certain Cavaliers player's Snapchat, and wow, what a TV show that's turned into, huh?
Yeah, it was an interesting night to say the least. It was a good night last night. Everybody in the team was there last night. At least at the last 2 places they went, other than Timothy Mozgov and Sasha Kwan. So that was it.
Wow. So what can you tell, while leaving out some of the stuff that we'll talk about off air, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so I was just in a private room last night. There were a lot of the Browns players were there too. It was just a private event. I witnessed I'd say about 6 or 7 people get kicked out for taking pictures, watching their phone getting confiscated, and pictures deleted right in front of it. It was pretty funny, actually, because they specifically said no pictures inside. So,
really?
And yeah, and I mean, people couldn't even be subtle about it. But it was a lot of fun. You could tell, these guys, you could tell it's a team. They were bonding well off the court last night. That's, it's about what I can say. At least on the air, but it was honestly, it was a fun night. It really was.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
That story popped out, and you're seeing the Kevin Love, and what are they calling that, Baby Love, or what's that picture of Kevin Love? Lil Kev, thank you. Yeah, it's very funny. Do you recall the last time an NBA team has been doing this, or do you think it really is the advent of social media, where now it's almost like you're following a reality show through the playoffs?
I'm telling you right now, a lot of teams, I don't know, like just like this, but a lot deep in the playoffs. I can tell you teams like Golden State do this. Teams like Miami were doing it a few years ago, when LeBron was there with Wade and all those guys. Teams like the Bulls, a lot of teams did this. This isn't something new, especially when you've got a good team, that's flowing through the playoffs pretty easily, and you don't have a lot of cares in the world. again, it's not like they have a game today or tomorrow. They potentially have one Sunday, but we'll wait and see what happens after the Heat game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Who do you think's going to come out of that?
And I can safely say, no one last night was that like basically lit. I can tell you that right now. It's not like you didn't see anyone pounding out of the bottle. Let's just put it that way. It was nowhere near that. So, so I can tell you that right now.
I wonder. People are probably wondering if Jr. Jr's nickname, right? Wonder how he was rocking it last night.
Looks like he was having a good time.
Yeah, probably. I could only imagine. Yeah, JR famously, I forget what the quote was exactly, but he said, the nightlife in New York was tough to avoid, and then you go to Cleveland, there's almost nothing to do, so you just focus on what you're doing, and look at the year J.R. Smith's having.
He's been fantastic so far in the second round of the playoffs. I mean, he's been fantastic in the playoffs. Again, I think the issue was last year when he slipped so badly in the finals because the Cavaliers were relying on him to be the number 2 guy. It just wasn't happening for him being the number 2 guy last year in the playoffs. This year, you don't need him to be. I mean, don't forget when you've got a lineup out there of Channing Frye, Kevin Love, LeBron, JR, and Kyrie, you've got 5 guys that can play on the perimeter at all times. And that's something the Cavaliers did to exploit Atlanta. I mean, it was really one of the most impressive series I've ever seen in my life.
Break it down. Why do you say that? One of the most impressive series you've ever seen.
Their ball movement on offense was unbelievable. The fluidity of their offensive game. I mean, they were even turning over the ball a lot, and they were still scoring over 120. It seemed like almost every game.
Yeah.
I mean, I was falling asleep in the third quarter of the blowout in Game 2.
Wait, you weren't at that one? You weren't at that one?
I said I was. I was falling asleep at the game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said watching the game. Yeah, that's.
No, I've been to every single home game so far, and I'll be throughout the playoffs. But
yeah, but that game too.
Right.
That was amazing.
Right now, the Cavs have positioned themselves. It's the best position they could be in. Having Oklahoma City beat San Antonio last night was good for Cleveland because you have to look at it. Steph Curry obviously is not 100%. He's going to have his work cut out for him going against Russell Westbrook. I'm not saying Golden State's going to lose this series. I think Golden State's a far superior team. I'm saying, though, with Oklahoma, with San Antonio likes to play big. Golden State will kill anyone who goes big. They're just so much quicker than the other team. Tim Duncan looks like he was done. I mean, it's sad to say because he didn't get the farewell tour Kobe got, and Duncan's one of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah, but that's so typically Tim Duncan, though. If he went out without the big farewell tour, that's kind of how his whole career's been. He's just been quietly doing his thing in San Antonio for 2 decades. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything else. If he goes out, he'd go out exactly as he played his career, just kind of underrated on the side, and maybe he's content with that.
I mean, do I think Oklahoma City though can beat Golden State? Probably not, but it is possible. I mean, you never know. I mean, if Golden State's not 100% and Curry's not 100%, I mean, here's the thing. On paper, Oklahoma City is just as talented as Golden State on paper. But you can never see Durant and Westbrook ever really doing something amazing on the same night. Or and Serge Ibaka taking such a backseat to those two. When at one point he was emerging as the third star on that team. And and he just isn't right now. But Oklahoma City has a very solid lineup. They've got a great team. I see that series probably going 6 to Golden State.
And they have a 3 musketeer on their team, too.
And whoever the Cavs play, I see them beating in 4. I mean, both of these teams are just so beat up right now.
I mean, do you think if either of those teams were healthy that it would be anything other than Cavs in 4? Do you think it would be...
I think if Miami were healthy with Chris Bosh and all those guys on a healthy Whiteside, I think they'd give the Cavaliers a little bit of trouble. But again, I see the Cavaliers probably beating them in 5. But it would be a much tougher series.
Yeah, I mean...
Than it would now.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, it's just... The Cavaliers literally are going to sit there and destroy... I mean, Toronto can't do anything on offense. DeMar Carroll is injured. Jonas Valanciunas is injured. I mean, the Cavaliers should have the right. Miami blew out Dang's hurt, I believe. Is Dang healthy? I know he wasn't. I know he was hurt the other night. But with Bosh being out, Whiteside's out. I mean, Miami's just missing the front court there. And, I mean, it's tough. We witnessed it last year with the Cavaliers being so injured. When Bergeron was hurt, when Love was hurt, when Irving was hurt. you run out of depth. You're playing guys 20 minutes that would normally not even see the court.
Yeah, we saw it with Matthew Dellavedova last year, famously. He really emerged in that series, but yeah, I mean, he collapsed of, what was that? What the official thing? Exhaustion or whatever it was.
Yeah, he just had exhaustion. He was in the hospital with an IV.
That's how hard that Cavs team was exerting themselves, and to not get swept, let alone potentially being in an amazing position to win the whole thing last year was just phenomenal. I don't want people to ever lose sight of just how close they got last year.
And that's the thing too. If you take away Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, the Cavaliers would have beaten the Warriors in 4. I'm just saying.
And that's the number one thing that the Cavs have going for them right now is the health of their team.
Yeah, exactly. It's usually, look at the team that always wins. You're never going to see a team that's so beat up ever winning the championship. It's always a healthy team that wins it all. And last year, Golden State was the healthiest team throughout the playoffs. There was no doubt about that. Their starting point guard all playoffs long last year. Patrick Beverly was out, Mike Conley was out, and Drew Holiday was out.
Yeah, so to think about anything in the East being easy and the Cavs got lucky. Who was that reporter that tweeted out about the Cavs being lucky this postseason? Did you catch that one?
I don't think I don't even know. Honestly, I don't think the Cavaliers are lucky at all. I think they're just damn good.
Oh no, absolutely. Now I typed in Cavs lucky and I'm finding something different.
You know what? You want to hear lucky? Look at Golden State. Golden State was so incredibly lucky this season. That's what happens. When luck is on your side, you win. Look at all the World Series teams. Look at the NBA teams. Look at the Super Bowl. You need some sort of luck on your side all the time in order to win.
And that's something that might have been missing for a while. That's not really how this team played. It was a lot of dribble, ISO, chuck up a shot. They
didn't have a choice last year. Don't forget who was on the floor playing valuable minutes. You had James Jones, Matthew Dellavedova, Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins playing significant minutes. That's right.
Yeah, exactly my point. It was something that just wasn't. It's amazing that they won 2 games. That's how good LeBron was. People forget that. LeBron can be that. Because don't forget, the more rest the Cavaliers get, the healthier LeBron is to play 48 minutes in the next game if needed.
Yeah, it's a totally different situation. Do you think the coaching change? We're hearing that David Blatt might go with the Knicks. We'll see if that happens. But you think the coaching change is really the main reason why this happened, or do you think it's?
No, I think Channing Frye was a big reason that happened. Look how big Channing Frye's been this playoff.
Absolutely. If they weren't using him at the very, very beginning, but they are now.
Also, figuring out Kevin Love. That's been the biggest thing too. Getting Kevin Love figured out in the Suns. Don't forget, it took over a year and a half to get Chris Bosh in the Miami offense, to get him acclimated. It took over a year and a half to get him fully installed in that offense, to find a proper role for him. They got it done. Kevin Love is essentially doing the same thing Chris Bosh did. Bosh started draining threes. It's very similar to the Chris Bosh role in Miami. Very similar.
Yeah, really, it's scary
Bosh
similar.
Bosh went from being a guy who dominated in the post to becoming an unbelievable jump shooter, mid-range guy, and from the three-point line. That's how he adapted his game. And you could see in year one, clearly it was not fitting with him.
So your opinion on the coaching change at this point, just whatever, or very good move,
you know
wait
what?
and see?
Here's the thing. If Tyronn Lue wins a championship, it was the right move. And honestly, right now they're killing it. Don't forget though, last year they did very well in the playoffs too. With a very injured roster, they did very well. They went 12. They were 12-2 in the East last year.
Right. Yeah, and it was what? One was on a buzzer beater.
And they won 2 games against the Warriors.
Yeah, taking 2 against that team, down by 2 of your players. It really is astonishing. Do you think David Blatt's going to end up with New York?
I don't know where he's going to end up. I have a feeling. You would think Phil would hire one of his own guys though, because his coaching tree is terrible, and it just seems like. I don't know. I'd hire him over Kurt Rambis. I think David Blatt's going to be a great coach in the NBA. There's a couple good fits for him. I mean, I think Blatt would be a decent fit in New York. I think he would fit very well there.
Yeah, we'll wait and see on that. Back to the Cavs real quick. I was just kind of wondering because, we're talking about the Cavs haven't faced adversity or faced a challenge, in the playoffs so far this year. But, a lot of those Detroit games and Atlanta games came down to the fourth quarter, maybe even the last couple minutes of the game. These were not all blowouts. There was a blowout or two, but there have been a lot of close games. I mean, are we wrong to say that the Cavs are having a cakewalk? Because they are fighting really hard to get some of these wins against the Pistons and Hawks.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what good teams do, though. Good teams win at the end. Their crunch time defense in the fourth quarter, look how many points they've been giving up in the fourth quarter all playoffs. Seems like they're not giving up more than 22 points any game in the playoffs in the fourth quarter.
Maybe because they're just saving it for when it really counts?
I mean, they've been excellent. And the thing is, yeah, you're not going to blow every team away. These are playoff basketball teams. It's not like you're facing the Sacramento Kings every night. You're facing a 43-win Detroit team and a 48-win Atlanta team.
Right.
Neither one of those teams are cakewalks. They're good basketball teams.
Well, let's.
I'm not saying they're great basketball teams, but it's not that easy to sweep a series.
Yeah, and now you swept two of them. It's tougher to win 8 games in a row anytime. So let's put it on record then. Oklahoma City Thunder, the Golden State Warriors. The series is going to play out how? How do you envision it?
Again, I think it's going to be a very hard fight. It all depends on Steph's health.
Okay.
I think Russell Westbrook, out of any point guard in the league, give Steph Curry the biggest challenge to get healthy because Westbrook's a great defender, and you watch him. He's so athletic, so quick. I think it's going to be a very tough matchup for Steph Curry. Although I do think the Warriors will win that series, especially if Steph is back to 100%. But if he's not, it's going to be very tough for Golden State. But again, don't forget, Oklahoma City has their nights, and you wonder sometimes, how are they so bad?
They look really good sometimes, and they did yesterday. I found it weird how many shots were almost in and then rimming out and bouncing back out for the Spurs yesterday. I watched, it seemed like in a full quarter they couldn't make a single jump shot heading into halftime. It was astonishing, So, and without that Deion Waiters play, who knows what happens in that series? So yeah, I mean the Thunder can look good, but can they maintain it? All right, let me just ask this question. I don't want to get too far ahead of the game here, but how would handling the big men on the Thunder change the way that the Cavaliers are currently playing? If we imagine that. I was saying with the big men on the Oklahoma City Thunder, let's just imagine if the Cavs had to play them in a championship. How would the Cavs lineup change, or would it stay the same with Channing Frye?
The Cavaliers lineup would stay the same. The Cavaliers would completely dictate. They'd completely dictate the lineup in that series. They managed to do it last year in the Golden State series too. I mean, anywhere the Cavaliers would stick with their current lineup now. Cavaliers. I mean, we witnessed what they did to Oklahoma City twice in the regular season. I mean, they knocked their socks off in the regular season. I remember watching that game in Oklahoma City. The Cavaliers were up by like 30 at halftime. They killed them.
Are the Thunder the same team that they were at that point in the season, though?
I mean, they might be a little better, but again, there's one problem with Oklahoma City, and this is one of the reasons they've never been able to beat LeBron. They've never had anyone to guard LeBron.
Yeah, and that was
LeBron has historically crushed Oklahoma City. Get in the finals. He's done it every time he's crushed OKC. It's just what he does.
Well, I guess then that solves the Kawhi Leonard problem. Kind of like there's an Iguodala problem. People that tend to play LeBron James very well, at least historically, right?
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean, don't forget last year, Golden State didn't have anyone else really to guard in that series other than LeBron.
Yeah.
This year they do. The Cavaliers are a completely different team. You've added so many different aspects of the team. Shumpert also wasn't healthy last year during the playoffs either. He had the separated shoulder.
Very true, yeah.
Get a healthy Cavs team in there. This is not the same Cavs team we saw in the regular season. I'll say that over and over again because it's not.
I think you're very onto something there. The MVP conversation. Oh, no, hold on. Wait. Before I get to MVP, and we're starting to wrap this up here, make sure you're following Zak on Twitter. He's at Zak Baris. That's ZBARIS. All right. So we kind of have an idea of what to expect happening with the Warriors. You expect the Warriors to win it, but you also see it where it's a bad matchup for Curry, and he can definitely get worn the heck down in the next series. Did I kind of sum it up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think he can. I mean, I think you need to just limit Steph and, make sure he's okay. But again, I think the Warriors are a much better team than Oklahoma City. I just think Oklahoma City will give them a little bit of trouble. I don't think it's going to be a ton.
Okay, so maybe 5 games or so.
I see Golden State winning that series without too many problems. Again, I think it'll go 6.
Okay, so then we got the game coming up is that thing on right now? The other game? The Heat?
The Miami game is on. Yeah, I'm heading home right now.
Okay, yeah, all right, so let's see where that one's at, but how do you see this one playing out?
I don't know. I think Toronto's going to win it, but I mean, I'd like to see the Miami Cavs series, but I mean, it's not the same Heat. It's a Heat team that's so demoralized right now by injury and just, it's just you're not going to get to see the full potential. And I think the Cavaliers, I don't think the Raptors have. I don't think the Raptors have anyone that can really, they can't keep with the score. I mean, if you look at all these games in the series, it seems like the Raptors are putting up 80 points a night.
They look really. I was watching, man. Similar to that quarter of nonstop misses for the Spurs. Some horrible basketball being played by the Raptors and Heat. It's like that famous Mike Polk Jr. rant. It's like they're playing a different sport. I mean, it was really a step below. Who knows if some of that's defensively caused, but really, the offensive flow is nowhere even near what the Cleveland Cavaliers have been showing. I think the Cavaliers are kind of even inventing a brand new way of playing basketball, or maybe it's catching up to what the Warriors did, however you want to define it. It really is at a different speed. Anyway, it's about 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Miami Heat 48, Toronto 43. So, within 50 to 43. But anyway, yeah, we'll see how that plays out. And basically, whoever the Cavs get, we're going to have a good chance of taking it to the finals, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, bearing something unforeseen, but yeah, I see the Cavaliers going to the finals.
All right, perfect. Well, I'll tell you what, we got a couple more games to watch, and we'll see how this thing gets going. You have anything else you wanted to toss in before we let you go, buddy?
I think that's about it right now. But it's just playoff basketball. It's been a ride so far for the Cavs, and I think this is one of the most dominant teams. Just also being in a weaker conference right now because of injuries and everything. The Cavaliers have really just dominated this playoff so far, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes the rest of the way. It'd be unbelievable if the Cavaliers should sweep the Eastern Conference.
And it has me wondering: is this the best Cleveland team that Cleveland has ever seen? Or since 1964, is this the best Cleveland team?
I think the best team Cleveland's ever seen. I think we've witnessed it. I think the 1995 Indians. I think we've witnessed some damn good teams in Cleveland. It's just unfortunate we haven't won. I mean, the 97 Indians were the closest, but they weren't the best. And, they were one strike away from winning the series.
Yeah, go figure. I'll tell you what, it is something special. In the last minute, Zach, you plan on watching Believe Land? Do you think it's going to be a good thing? Have you had a chance to screen it by chance?
I mean, I'll watch it. It would make it a lot easier, though, if the Cavaliers are able to win the championship.
Exactly. Well, how about this is the thing that breaks the curse, and it's all finally lifted this year. That works for me.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, if they win it this year, it'll be hard to even remember all the disappointment at that point. All I want is my championship. That's all I ask for.
I don't think it's too much. I don't think that's too much at all. I mean, maybe at some point we want one for all of our favorite teams, but just to get one at some point, hey, that's not too much for me to ask. Well, anyway, Zach, thanks again for your time. You have a good weekend. We'll talk a little bit off air and try to figure things out. I got to get a few more of the stories that are not going to make it to air. But anyway, have a good weekend. We'll talk again soon when the Cavs find out who their opponent is and get things moving along in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, man?
Thanks as always, Brian.
All right. Take care, Zach. Make sure you're following
Bye-bye.
him on Twitter. He's at Z Baris. That's Z-B-A-R-I-S. Want to make sure you're subscribed. YouTube.com/The New American Media. Go on thenewamericanmedia.com. And on the right-hand side is the TNAM radio button. That's where you click play to listen live. Underneath that, it has our Twitter feed and our Facebook page. So link up with those. If you haven't submitted a request. We're a private Facebook group called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Man, is that a good page if you like the Indians, Cavs, Browns, and Buckeyes. I am telling you, we are rocking it over there. Come join us. We just have to prove that you're an Indians, Cavs, Browns, or Buckeye fan. That's why it's still private. It's an exclusive club. That'd be fun to have a cover charge to join a Facebook club. Or a suggested donation. A possible donation. Anyway, I digress. Special thanks to Zak Baris for joining us today. Special thanks to Blake the Eccentric Wally for joining us on our Agree to Disagree program, where we talked about Hillary Clinton raising $100 million off of Middle Eastern influences, if you will, and her ongoing email investigation for criminal activity. Check out that show. Go Cavs. I mean, what else can you say? Go Cavs. Okay, I'll say this. I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening. I love the fact that you're listening. So I appreciate you, I love you, and we'll talk again soon. All right? Have a good weekend. Stay safe. Peace.
And this is John B. Wells reminding you that not only is Brian Engelman a cool guy, and not only is the newamericanmedia.com a very cool platform, but here's a cool idea for you, too. Are you alone? Not really. Do you like dogs? Do you like cats? You do. Of course you do. Everybody does. One or the other, maybe even both. You know, there are a lot of dogs and cats that are at shelters right now, and if somebody doesn't take them home, they're going to wind up euthanized. That's a nice way of saying they're going to be killed, because there's simply not enough room. I guarantee it, the best dogs and the best cats, the best pets, come from shelters. There's something about dogs and cats. They know. They know where they are. You walk through one of them, and certainly at least one is going to look at you and go, I wish you'd take me home. I'm in hell. Please take me out of here. It'll be the best thing that you ever did for your soul. You'll feel good about it. And not only that, but you have a friend for life. Doesn't matter if you got money, you don't have money. Well, it doesn't make any difference to a dog or cat. All they need is the sound of your voice and maybe even the stroke of your hand, and they're fine. Maybe a little food every once in a while. The sweetest sound that those pets ever hear is your voice. Think it over and adopt a cat or a dog from a local shelter today. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did.